the story of his transformation. The transformation of growing up in a home that was disrupted by violence. Violence perpetrated against the family. Not violence that the family was perpetrating against anyone or anything, but what was being done to the family as a result of Malcolm's mother and father advocating for justice and being a part of this group called the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association. And so when we look at this seminal work of Alex Haley, and we know and we realize that this book was published after Malcolm was dead, had been martyred, that Malcolm never lived to see the completed work. He never could say, no, Alex, I want you to take this out. I want you to put this in. And so let me just share a little bit more about this autobiography. It's such a wonderful work. But when we look at Alex Haley, I'm not saying anything against the dead. But it is a reality that Alex Haley was diametrically on another end. He was the polar ideological opposite of Malcolm X. Whatever we want to characterize Malcolm as, Alex Haley was a very conservative Republican in the 1960s. Alex Haley, and like I said, he did a wonderful job, but we have to look at this work and look at Malcolm's life with a critical eye and not be given to just emotionalism. Alex Haley was a Republican, and read your history about what it meant to be a black Republican in the 1960s. Read what happened during the 60s, how many people would identify themselves with all of the social change that was going on in the African American community and around. How many people would say, I'm a Republican, I support the agenda of the Republican Party. I support Barry Goldwater. I support these kind of people. We find that Alex Haley, before writing the autobiography and putting this great work together, that he was working with a man with the Saturday Evening Post by the name of Alfred Balk. And Alfred Balk, and you can find it in the government records when you look at it, that Alfred Balk was collaborating with the FBI starting in 1961. And Alfred Balk was getting information from the FBI against the Nation of Islam and against Malcolm X. And what Alfred Balk did with this information for the Saturday Evening Post was to get with Alex Haley, and for the next 2 years, they put together a series in the Saturday Evening Post called The Black Merchants of Hate. In this particular work, there are many scholars and researchers that said that this work, The Black Merchants of Hate, became the template that Alex Haley used for the autobiography of Malcolm X. You see, Malcolm befriended and Alex befriended Malcolm. They were mutually close to one another. But Malcolm's agenda and reason for saying and doing what he was doing was very different than the motivation and the reason. And only God knows why Alex Haley was doing what he was doing. But what we find that this man with the different kind of agenda than what happened with this work, but there are 3 chapters that have been left out of the autobiography of Malcolm X. There are 3 chapters that are left out of this book. That in 1992, a man by the name, who was an attorney in Detroit, Michigan, a man by the name of Greg Reed, purchased from the estate of Alex Haley for $100,000 documents that Alex Haley had that he used for the autobiography, and included in this were 3 chapters that are missing from the work we know as the autobiography of Malcolm X. Those 3 chapters that there are people like the professor at Columbia University and writer Manning Marable, who met with Greg Reed and went to Detroit and said that I am a scholar, I have only academic and intellectual and scholarly reasons to want to see the work. How can I come to your house? I understand you have it in a safe. Let me come to your house and sit down. I don't want to take it from your presence, but I just want to read what it is that you've put together. Not what you put together, what Alex Haley had that he left out of the autobiography. Manning Marable tells us that he had 15 minutes in a public restaurant to look at 3 chapters that Malcolm had given to Alex Haley. He had given him the information, and Manning Marable says that the chapters were like a political manifesto, that if people wanted to know where was Malcolm going, what was he intending and trying to do systematically, what was he trying to do, look at those 3 chapters and you see that he was not just a man who was like a piece of lint after leaving the Nation of Islam floating in the wind. But for whatever reason, this never made it into this work that you and I are so attached to, called the autobiography. It doesn't diminish, it doesn't take away at all from what we have. But it's just that the meat, the substance, that many people, like myself, may have wanted to see, well, what was he thinking? We know how brilliant he was. We know what oratorial skills he had, but he was gifted with a kind of political and social analysis that few human beings have. What was Malcolm intending to do? But we're still probably many years away from knowing